So we are going to start, though, with one of the coaching changes that we haven't touched on yet. It kind of snuck by us, honestly. It came over break. It came right in between the end of state title games and Christmas. And if you ever want to sneak something by us,
that's a good time.
That's the best time to do it. Or you want to bury news. Dennis Franchione retired at Texas State. And before we get into where they go next, can we just, for a second, take a moment to tip the cap to Dennis Franchione? I know that he is not the most loved guy in everywhere in the state, and I know that A&M fans aren't particularly fans of his, although I think that my overarching opinion on Dennis Franchione at A&M was that A&M fans have kind of let him be a catch-all, like oh, it's his fault. Scapegoat.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy target.
Dennis Franchione had the rare opportunity of coaching 3 different FBS programs in the state of Texas. He coached at TCU, he coached at A&M, and he coached at Texas State. Yep. And you know what? He was a darn good coach pretty much everywhere he went. I mean, 127 and 111 altogether, and that includes coaching at New Mexico for a while. I mean, he was – I know that he never went and won a national championship. I know that, guys. But at the same time –
that's an impossible standard.
I mean, this is a guy who I think history will smile very warmly on the career of Dennis Franchione.
He's essentially punished for just not being one of the greatest coaches in Texas history.
I think Dennis Franchione – like I said, I think that in the end he will go down as I think history will smile upon him. And I know that it didn't end well this year, 3-9. Nobody's happy about that. But
nothing ends well.
Nothing ends well.
Otherwise, it wouldn't end.
Nobody's happy with when things end. But in the end, I think you look at this. He had 2 10-win seasons, one at Alabama, one at TCU. I think he is a woefully underrated coach and a good dude, and he's been a friend of Dave Campbell's Texas football. I got nothing but good things to say about Dennis Franchione. So, sir, he's been in coaching for 30 years. He's finally going to go take a break. Good for him. I tip my cap to you,
Go down to
sir.
Mexico, have a few pina coladas.
So now, there is a coaching vacancy.
Yes.
There may be another one here in a moment, but there is a coaching vacancy. As Texas State is open, they're looking for their first head coach, their first non-Dennis Franchione head coach at the FBS level. Who do they go to? Well, there's a couple of options. First of all, let's talk about who's not going to be the coach. Okay. I don't think any active FBS coaches are going to be your coach.
No.
Anybody who has an active FBS job.
Right.
All due respect to our friends at Texas State, nobody's leaving to go to Texas State from an FBS head coaching job. Okay. Also not going, we've learned, Major Applewhite. Major Applewhite, the Houston offensive coordinator, will not be interviewing for the job at Texas State.
After we heard he would be the first interview.
We heard he would. Our good friend Joe Vizzelli at the San Marcos Daily Record.
No, you all crazy.
Has confirmed that he's been in contact with him, but he said that he's happy with his position there, and so Major Applewhite will not be the next coach at Texas State. So let's talk about some potential options, and we'll talk first of all about the guys who are most likely to be the guys. Okay. I think that you look at guys like I know that another name being kicked around is Craig Nivar, the defensive or the assistant head coach, co-defensive coordinator at Houston. And if you're looking for a defensive guy, you can do a lot worse than the guy who coached Houston's defense.
And it's not – the other thing is defensive coordinators not getting as many opportunities as offensive guys today. So maybe you find a diamond in the rough by going into that overlooked group.
Yeah, I think that he is I think that he would be an interesting choice. He's a guy that I know gets a lot, that the players love him. They've really gotten – between him and Tony or Todd Orlando – those are guys that have, I think, led the renaissance of Houston football. We talk so much about Tom Herman. We talk so much about Major Applewhite, and those guys have obviously done great work. But I mean, you want to talk about the defense that has really come along for the Houston Cougars. I mean, Naivar and Orlando. Orlando's likely, it doesn't seem like he's interested, but Naivar would be a great.
But Orlando will, soon enough, be a very hot name.
I think he's waiting. I think
you're right.
I think he's waiting for the next Tom Herman shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And I think that he wants to follow him wherever he goes. But again, I don't know his heart.
We'll see.
If you're looking for another name that's been kicked around of late, our friend Joe Vizzelli, I think, was the first one to mention it, and he since said that he is going to interview or would like to interview Jeff Traylor.
Mike Craven just tweeted about that. Yo, call Jeff Traylor.
Jeff
No
Traylor.
argument here. You'll get no argument from us.
He's the tight end special teams coach at Texas. Yeah. He led Gilmer to titles. The knock on him would be that he has never been a college football head coach, and he's actually only got 1 year in college.
Yep.
But if you want to talk about recruiting inroads, and you want to talk about a guy who is respected in the Texas high school football community, there are not a whole lot of names you can put above Jeff Traylor.
No.
That's a guy
he is the ultimate high-risk, high-reward pick.
He is. That is a guy that I understand. There is certainly a risk involved.
Yep.
But I think he would be a great choice. If you're leaning towards that road, a guy with a little bit of college experience, not as a head coach, but was a great high school head coach.
Right.
Do you give a call to Claude Mathis at SMU, the running backs coach there, who was the Texas, who's now SMU's running backs coach, who led DeSoto to national prominence.
We've seen how DeSoto struggled without him.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's a firecracker. Another guy with great recruiting inroads.
Yep.
A guy that is well liked in the Texas high school football community. I think that he would be an interesting choice to throw out there. So those are the guys that I think are. If you're looking at 4 guys who could be. By the way, they could also promote from within. There's also reports that they're going to look at Mike Schultz, who's the offensive coordinator. He could get the promotion. There's a few other guys that I think could be in the list. But if you're looking for crazy names, you're looking for wild card names that could come out of nowhere if they were interested. Do you make a call to Kendall Briles, the Baylor offensive coordinator? And now it would take a lot for him to leave his dad.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about offense? If you want a brand of offense and a guy who's got the name, Kendall Briles is a guy who, if he's looking for a step up, Texas State would be a great landing spot for him. If he's looking to get into the head coaching realm. That would be a very interesting name. Do you call a guy? And this is Joe Vizzelli wrote a great article for the San Marcos Daily Record about this. Not about this guy, but he's mentioned in it. Do you call Todd Dodge? And I know that his history is bad at the college level.
Yeah,
okay?
But maybe he learned a few things.
Can he? Maybe it transitions over into a better second act. Maybe this is the right spot for him.
Yeah,
that's an option there. I think that there are a few other options around there, but I think that's what you got to look for. You got to look for assistance. You got to look for grabbing a coordinator or promoting from within.
Yeah.
I think that Mike Schultz, the offensive coordinator, if continuity is the most important thing to you, then he would be the choice there.
And offense clearly wasn't the problem many of these years.
Sure. And do you want a defensive coordinator? Do you want to go offense? This is going to shape really the future of the Texas State program, not just in 2016, and in fact, less so in 2016 than in 2018, 2019, 2020. I think that Texas State needs to have a guy that they view as they view Texas State as a destination, because I know that one of the things that Texas State runs into problems with is that, okay, let's just say you go out there and you get Casey Keeler. Okay, let's just use him as an example. You go hire Casey Keeler, and he turns Texas State into a power. 9-10 win power every year, right? Well, then somebody's going to come pluck him, right? I think you need to view somebody who views Texas State as a destination. That would be my particular choice. And I think that I think there's a number of names out there who would view that. I think Craig Naivar is an interesting name coming out of Houston. and then Jeff Traylor as well. I think there's a number of names. You can't go wrong. The good news is that there's so much coaching depth in the state of Texas.